Matt from Catch Co here, and let me tell you, it is a scorcher. Flat, calm conditions, the water's crystal clear and about 90 degrees. That's the ticket for a really difficult day of fishing. When I encounter days like this, I like to downsize. So for Catch Co this month, we put together a bundle with a lot of different finesse options. The first option is a Finesse TRD from Z-Man. Since it's from Z-Man, of course, it's got that Elastec technology, super durable and will last a number of different fish. We got this in the California craw color, a light underbelly, and then a dark top. We've got it paired up with a VMC Finesse Half Moon Head, 3/16 ounce, and green pumpkin. So it matches really well with this soft plastic. We found the only shade line left on the body of water. It's a transition point where there's some reed grass that transitions to some rock. I think I've got a good chance to catch some fish on this bait. Again, it's been really tough, but if we're gonna catch any fish today, it's gonna be on baits like this. With the Finesse TRD, there's really no wrong way to fish it. What I like to do is throw it out and let it sink all the way to the bottom. We've got a little bit of grass here, a little bit of rock, a nice mixture, and just kind of twitch it back to the boat. Make sure you're keeping bottom contact, let it fall back on a slack line to the bottom, and twitch it. I'm fishing this today, 10-pound braided line connected with an 8-pound fluorocarbon leader, small spinning reel, and a medium action spinning rod. It's important to get a good hook set in these fish, but at the same time you don't want to break your line, so I loosen my drag a little bit and reel down into them before I set the hook. We're fishing this transition zone between the reeds and the rocks, hoping to pick up some fish on this really slow day. There's one right there. Right underneath the boat in that deep water. Seems like a decent sized fish too. Oh, here it comes up to the surface. Nice. Whoa, look at that thing dive, and it's got a fish with it down there too. It's a good sign. Awesome. Look at that thing. Let's see if we can get him in the boat. Ooh, gotcha. All right, there it is. Nice start to the Finesse TRD. Again, it's been a tough day out here. Throw this thing on and it's money. Nice, chunky, healthy fish. It came in about 12 or 14 feet of water. It's a good sign. I think we're gonna be on him with this finesse technique. There he goes. See if we can catch a few more. I see some fish just right offshore right here. That fish came right at that break line, so I think that they're gonna be a little bit deeper today, which makes sense since it's so warm. And that fish had a couple fish with it too, so I'm hoping that I could catch its buddy. Just quick twitches of the rod tip. There's another one. Not as big as the last one, but oh, look at that jump. Wow, that was awesome. It's got another one with it too. Look at that thing, fighting. He's not a big one, but he sure thinks he is. All right. This TRD, I'm telling you, it's the ticket. TRD stands for the real deal, and it's the real deal today, that's for sure. All right, guys, we're just on this rental boat provided by the Park Services, and it's not the fanciest boat. It doesn't have a lot of really nice new electronics, but it does have a fish finder. And it functions well enough that you can find drop-offs and you can find fish as well. And so I just came across this point that went from 28 to 34 feet, and you can see that there are some fish on the bottom here. And I know from previous experience that the fish hang out here really deep in the summer, so I'm gonna throw a drop shot now. So we're gonna start with the Skinny Bear drop shot hook. This is a 1/0 Skinny Bear drop shot hook paired up with a 1/4 ounce thin drop shot weight from Skinny Bear as well. Since we're fishing so deep, I wanna get down there fast. And we're gonna pair this up with a really cool new technology from Zoom. It's called their Z3 Triple Pour Swamp Crawler. It's a hand pour style bait, so they're able to do 3 different colors. This is the bold bluegill pattern, so you've got bright green on the bottom, then a black stripe, and then brown on top. I'm really excited about these baits, and I'm super pumped to catch some fish on them. Let's see if we can do it. I'm gonna nose hook it like this, just to maximize the action. We can experiment with different ways to rig it as well, but I just nose hooked it right through the tip. And I'm not gonna cast really far out. I know that there are some fish underneath this, so I'm just gonna flip it out there and let it sink all the way to the bottom. I've got this on my Finesse setup, 10-pound line, braid, with an 8-pound fluorocarbon leader, about a 7-foot fluorocarbon leader. And then I've got about 6 inches between the hook and the drop shot weight. On the bottom there, I'm just gonna keep tight line and slowly just bounce it around. It's hard to fish this offshore stuff without really highly complicated electronics, but it is possible, and I know that there are fish out here. I've caught them out here before. And usually it's some larger size fish as well, so let's see if we can get them. The nice thing about fishing braid with a fluorocarbon leader when you're doing finesse tactics is that it's much more sensitive, much more sensitive. So that I'm 34 feet down and I can feel every rock, every nibble. I think that's highly important, especially when you're fishing so deep. Plus, when you do get a bite, there's no stretch in your line, so you can set the hook very quickly. Finally, the advantage is that you can also see it when it's above the water, so you can detect bites visually, not just feeling it. All very good reasons to use braid on your finesse setup. We just went over this shallow hump. It was up to 4 feet, and now it's dropping off down to 14, 15, 16 feet, and they're just stacked up right on the ledge. We're gonna see if we can get them on the drop shot. This is the perfect scenario. So we've been fishing for a little bit without a bite, and one thing you can always do with the drop shot is adjust the length of line you have between your weight and your hook. So let me just show you how to rig this up really quickly, and I'm gonna increase the length of line between our hook and our weight. So the first thing I wanna do is tie Palomar knot with an extra long leader line. So I'll take the hook. First I'll give myself a little bit more line to work with. And double it over like so. Double over the line of my finger, between my forefinger and thumb. Then through the back of the drop shot hook, I'll run that doubled over line, bring it through. Next, just a simple overhand knot, like so. I'm just taking this line and making an overhand knot, passing it back through the loop I just made. And it's vitally important to wet this line, especially with fluorocarbon. Then bring that hook and bait back through the loop you had just created. Wet it again and cinch it down. But what you'll notice now is that hook is kind of facing upright. If you tie it the opposite direction, it will face down or sideways. So it's important to bring the line, the doubled up line, through the back of the hook when you tie this knot. And with the drop shot weight, you actually don't secure the line to the weight by tying it. Instead, it's got this nice clip right here. So you run that line through the clip and then just get it in this position and pull it tight. Now it's secure. I wanted to increase the length between my drop shot, hook, and weight because there's a lot of grass growing up from the bottom. So I want to make sure my worm is up out of that grass and presented to the fish. This Catch Co bundle also contains another drop shot worm. This is the BioSpawn PlasmaTail. This is a 4.5-inch PlasmaTail, Ox Blood peach color. I think it's a super sweet color for clear water like this, and it does a great job of mimicking lots of different bait fish. And instead of nose hooking this, I'm going to thread it on the hook a little bit differently than we did the zoom. Just bring it through the body of the bait a little bit further. And out through the back, make sure it's rigged up nice and straight. There we go. See if we can get some fish on this point. I'm not gonna work this any differently than I was using the zoom. Same thing, cast it out, let it fall all the way to the bottom. It's deep. Just at the bottom there, flip over my bail, and slowly start retrieving it back to the boat. The BioSpawn PlasmaTail is a really good looking bait, especially when fish are foraging on bluegill and perch. that little bit of chartreuse or peach on the tail, whenever there's bluegill or perch as a forage base, for some reason seems to drive the fish crazy and they love it. I think it's because perch and bluegill have a little bit of a chartreuse or a bright color pattern as well. Fishing this bait again, just on a 7-foot or 6'9", excuse me, medium action spinning rod, 10-pound braid, 8-pound fluorocarbon leader, same setup as the other stuff I was throwing. And before I was fishing a mostly vertical presentation with the drop shot, but I'm actually casting it further off and then retrieving it back, swimming over the top of the grass, just trying to cover water and find fish. Just feeling for any subtle bite. There's a little bit of grass there, it's a good sign. Oh, have a bite there. Dropped it really quick, but that's good. There are fish here still. Let's see if we can get a hook set in one. Here, fishy, fishy, fishy. Sometimes that'll work. Boy, it was a hot one out today. Tough day of fishing. But if you use the right techniques, like we have in the Catch Co bundle this month, it's a great way to get the skunk out of the boat. Until next time, tight lines.